Welcome back, guys. This is Legit Lee back again with another video for you. Today I'm going to show you the settings on my Sony A7iii. I just picked this bad boy up for about 2 weeks ago now, and I had it running for about a week because I didn't have a lens that came with it yet. I had to wait and pick up a lens afterwards because, you know, this camera, granted, is pretty cheap for what you're getting. It still is pretty freaking expensive. And so I'm going to be doing a lot of videos of what I'm using, how I'm doing it, how I'm color grading, what logs I'm using, all kind of different stuff, so you guys can kind of follow along and see where I'm going with all this. If you like any of these videos, I do tech reviews, I 3D print, 3D design, and obviously I talk about cameras because they're one of my major things I do a lot of research on. Is I love cinematic footage. I just think the way you can make something look amazing out of just something like this is pretty amazing to me. I don't know about you, but yeah, so I watch a lot of YouTubers like Henbu, Cody Blue, you know, all those top-rated YouTubers here, and Henbu was showing how he set up his cinematic footage, but I never seen how he set up his dials. So I'm gonna go off of what he was doing. So he was showing how in one of his videos, it was like, I think it was how to set your B-roll and how he sets his B-roll and cinematic footage, his settings for his camera, and he uses a Sony A7iii too. And he didn't show how he set the dials on his camera. So like he said, he has number 1 and number 2 that he uses on a regular basis, so he can just switch over to them, which is great. I mean, that's a fantastic idea, obviously, and then plus this camera has so much capability of customization, it's ridiculous. But he didn't show how he set the buttons. He showed his settings, but he didn't show how he set the actual dial settings, like how to save it to that specific number, number 1 or 2. So what I'm gonna do here today is show you guys how you actually can do it. I didn't do a whole lot of research on it. I kind of just played around with the camera and finally figured it out. It like just clicked to me at one point, and then I was like, okay, now I can see how I got it. Makes sense. And now I'm gonna show you guys how you can do it too, so that way you don't have to surf the web forever trying to find out the information, or have to read pages on pages out of the manual. I don't know how many pages are in there because I didn't look at it, and I don't really read manuals like that like I probably should, but I don't know, reading manuals for things that I know I can just watch off YouTube, which is quicker, could be like a 10 to 20 minute video instead of reading for about 30 minutes on a whole booklet. I mean, I know they have indexes and all that, but still, like, you're not really knowing what you're looking for unless you Google search something, and everybody wants things done as quick. So just like how you guys want me to stop talking, let's just get into the video and get this done quick. Okay, so what you're gonna do is go from whatever you have your dial set to, you want to set it to manual, and once you do that, you're in complete control of your camera. So that's the mode you're going to stay on at the moment. So in order to get everything set up, you have to be on manual first before you change it to 1 or 2 on your dial. Okay, so now we're in manual. Don't worry about that fuzziness. I have a lens on here and it has the lens cover on it, so I wouldn't worry about that. That's not part of the video, so don't pay no attention to this. So now that we have our camera in manual mode, we're going to go to menu, and then inside of menu you'll be adding, well, actually going and setting up your footage here, or your what you want your footage to be at. So for instance, if we go, you know, Henbu was talking about how he has everything set, so we'll start from here. So right now he did RAW instead of, for his file format, he doesn't do RAW or JPEG. And then uncompressed, I did see his was set on standard for JPEG quality, but I think this is just for photos because it's in the number 1 tab. And then it's 24 megapixels per the image size because this can take 20 megapixel camera footage. And then he uses aspect ratio at 3.2. So then he goes over, we're on the second page. He has long exposure off, which I have off, and then you want to go to here is where you're going to be setting up stuff, and I'm going to show you in a minute, but make sure you remember number 3 is what we're going to be working with. So let's move over to this regular focus. We have for manual focus is what your settings should be. You can, everything else should be the same way if I'm not mistaken when you do have your camera on. Then let's move over. If you need to look at all the information, I would say look at Hembu's. He shows this information here, but like I mentioned, he just wasn't showing how to set his dials. So after he does, you know, your ISO, and he has spot metering to the center, and you know the white balance is set for custom at I have mine set at 44. He had 55 because he likes warmer colors, is what he was saying. But I'm trying to get, that's just for his scenario, that's not for everybody, so you just take that with a grain of salt. Let me go back to menu, and then so yeah, now in menu, picture profiles, that was one of the main things. So in picture profile, you would go over, so he has hold on, let me go back by hitting menu. So on his first picture profile, he has Cine 4, so black level is +5, Cine 4, black gamma was middle with a level of 5, +5, and then we would go down to knee, which is supposed to be on, not on auto, it's supposed to be manual. I don't know why it's on auto right now. And we set the slope, which both of those are right, so let's go ahead and move over. So 80 for the knee, and then 2 for the slope, +2. Then we go back and back. Then he's using, for the color mode, he's using gamut 3 for Cine. And then saturation is +3, color +3, color depth +1 for the reds, -2 for green, +3 for blue, +3 for cool, I believe, or C. I'm not sure what C is. I didn't do all the research just yet to find out, but I will be doing more research and videos, so stay tuned for those. And then he has the M, magenta, I'm guessing. So C must be cyan, and then M is for magenta, and that's +3. And then I guess Y would be yellow, and yellow is at 0. So then we move over, go down, details supposed to be at a 0, right? And then after you do all this, you have your picture profile set. You just keep hitting menu to exit back to the menu setting, right? And everything is saved. So if we go back to picture profile 3, all that information, so see right now we're on manual, not automatic, is for my knee, like I just changed. Then I could set that to that one if I wanted to. So now we have that setting, right? So this is the part that gets a little confusing. So after he set his picture profiles, he has Cine 4 for picture profile 1, S-Log 2 for profile 2, and then S-Log 3 for profile 3. And that's pretty much how he was setting up most of his stuff. I mean, like I say, you can look at his video, he'll show you all the information. But after he's done showing the information, every time I change my dial to a different number, or if I try to set it up for a number, I would lose that information. Every time I would do it, it would go blank and just revert back to what my settings were originally. So how do you compensate for that before you change anything? Menu, we're still on manual mode right now. So we'll go to menu. Let's go back to that number 3 that I was talking about. So we'll go this way. Page 3 on number 1. So down here, all you have to do is go to memory. You'll hit memory. Once you get here, you can set your dials. So number 1 and number 2. So this is how you actually save and everything. So right now, I'm on dial number 1. So I'm going to set this picture profile that I have, and it shows all the information. You got 50 for the shutter speed. I have f2 for my lens, which is a 28mm f2 lens, the native one for Sony. Then ISO 800, I have RAW, that's my 3.2 aspect ratio, 24 frames per second at 100 megabytes for the encoding, memory information, and then we have our white balance at 44,000 for Kelvin, and then we have standard and a bunch of manual focus and all the information. All you have to do is just hit the center button right here. Now it registered and it's saved. So you do the same thing for your other picture profile. So if you go to the other ones, which we'll just move over to picture profile, which I just passed, hold on. Okay, so now that we're in here, now you already saved your information to dial number 1. So number 1 has all the information for picture profile 1. Now, if you wanted to change anything else, you can completely do so. If you want to change it to, 120 frames per second for 1080p for slow motion, like how he did, you can definitely do so. All you have to do is go to your record format here. That'll be movie 1, the purple page 1. And you'll just go here. Actually, you have to go here first, HD, and then you would set 120 frames per second, and there you have it. So you have that one set, but you don't want to use that picture profile. Say you want to use S-Log2. We'll go over to our picture profile right here, page 12 on number 1. And then you'll go down, see picture profile number 2 has S-Log2, black levels +5, cine gamut 3, the black gamma is wide and +5 for the level, and then we have our knee at the same 80%, and then, oh wait, it's on auto. God, why is it doing that? Okay, let me go back. I'm going to set it to manual. There we go. And then my manual is set for 80 and then -2. So we'll go, +2. Back. And saturation, we have +3 color phase, +3 color depth, +2, 0, +3, +3, +2, +2. And then you go back, and then color, details is going to be at a 0 still. All of them are 0. I'm not sure what exactly that is, and I'll have to do testing to see if that really does anything, but we'll see in the future for that. Like I said, more videos to come. Okay, so now that we set our picture profile to correctly, you want to save it, and then we'll exit out. So since we're already on it, all we have to do is push the center button, bam. Now we're on picture profile 2 right there. So now you want to save that one to dial number 2. So we're going to go to menu again. Then you're going to move over to number 3 on the page. For the first 3 page, it'll be number 1, this one, and number 3 over here. And then you're going to go to memory. Now, number 1 has been saved. You have all the information and details still. Actually, this is different. This is all the stuff we just set up. That was my mistake. See, right now it's registering what you have, and then it's asking you if you want to save it to number 1 or number 2. So we're going to go to number 2 because we already set up number 1. If we do number 1, it's going to override that 24 frames a second at 4K and all the other settings that I did for picture profile number 1. See, right now we're doing picture profile number 2, so we're setting it for page 2, and then we just hit save, and then there you go, registered. So that's it in a nutshell. So now that we get out, let's go ahead and move out. We're still on manual mode, and I'm going to flip my dial, if I can see it, there it goes, to number 1. Now we're on number 1, recalled, and we're going to set it. And then you can see we're at 50 frames a second, f2 ISO 800, we're in RAW, you have 44,000 Kelvin, manual focus, picture profile number 1, and that's it. So now we're going to go to number 2, and you can see right here there's a little number 1, and then we have number 2 right here. All you have to do is just flip the dial right here, and now we're on picture profile number 2. You see 120 frames per second for 1080p, 100 megs, and there you have it. So you're on number 2 now, and you have raw still, 44 for the Kelvin, 50, then 2, 800. Then you see picture profile 2 right here. So that's basically all you need to do to get your dial set up for your custom buttons. So your overall custom buttons will still work for each each dial you're on. So if I wanted to change my white balance, for instance, I have it set to custom button number 1, I think. No, number 2. So I could change my white balance on here. See, so I hit just my custom button number 1, and that's good. Now if I go back to number 1 on the dial instead of being on number 2, so now we're at 24 frames per second on picture profile 1, we can actually still hit custom button number 2 to actually change our white balance. So your custom buttons that you set are still going to be just that, your custom button. So you don't actually have to worry if you're changing your custom profiles for each setting for number 1 or number 2. It won't change your custom buttons. You have to go in there and do it manually for each time if you want to change them. So that's good and bad. So if you think they're going to change with your custom settings, it's not. But if you're used to them all the time, then that works out best for you. So it just really depends on your type of shooting. But either way, you can get it set up for pictures or video. So if you went into custom, let me just go here, menu. So if you do set your custom keys, I would recommend, if you're trying to set them specifically for everything, start at the top, custom key, because then, like I mentioned, it'll work for each. So custom button number 1 changes picture profile, custom button number 2 white balance, and that works for whatever dial you're at. So I'm on 1 right now. See the little top 1 in the corner there, number 2 on the bottom. So if I flip forward, that's number 2. If I hit 1, I'm at picture profile number 2, and then custom button number 3 white balance. So it works for both dial settings. I hope you guys liked this video. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. I'm trying to put out these videos as fast as I possibly can. It's just taking a little time, and definitely let me know what you guys are thinking about this whole scenario, because I want to know if you guys are having the same issues, and if you are, let me know how you were dealing with it. If you found like a back way compared to what I'm doing right here. I feel like this is the real way to do it, but I don't know. I just found this on my own. And if you guys have any ideas of what you want me to tackle next, leave that in the comments down below too, and I'll definitely research it and try to figure it out. Anyway, this is Legit Lee, and I'm signing out.